Hey everybody, Andrew here. This is just going to be a quick one, really short dream, straight to the point. I don't remember exactly when this was, but I'm going to say it was around March of 2021. So in this dream, I was standing in a really long line of hundreds of people, maybe even thousands. The surrounding area was very run down, um, impoverished, almost kind of like a wasteland. Everyone around me looked homeless, really dirty, shabby clothing, just wrapped up in blankets, tattered clothes, including myself. People were huddled around fires that they had made in trash cans, things like that. And we were all waiting in line for these like vending machine looking things. And what would happen is you would go up to this vending machine, and I can't remember if it would like give you a card, like a credit card, or if you already had a card and you put it in the machine and then it would load things onto it that way. But either way, everybody had these cards, and you would go up to the machine, and then it would give you your I guess it was monthly allowance of money to go towards food, water, gas, electricity, whatever. It wasn't just like money. It wasn't just like your card was loaded with cash to use on whatever. It was for specific things. You only got a certain allowance to use towards, like I said, food, water, travel, electricity, any kind of bills, just on fun things for yourself that you'd like to have. These cards told you what you could have and how much of it you could have. And it wasn't a lot. And, one person would walk up to the machine and get their card with their allowance on it, and everyone else would start attacking them for it because what people had was so scarce. Like, no one had anything. Like I said, everybody looked homeless and impoverished and malnourished. So when somebody would get a card with, more food points and water points and heat points and all that kind of stuff on it, they would just get attacked, and people were viciously fighting each other over these cards. And that was it. That's all I remember from the dream. Really quick. But definitely made an impact. And like I said, I believe this dream was around March, maybe late February of 2021. And shortly after that, I'm talking just a couple weeks, maybe a month, I started seeing all these corporations and major banks and all this really start talking about like carbon credits, carbon allowance, and all these different governments talking about smart cities and wanting to control what temperature people heat their homes at, if they can have gas stoves or not, what kind of light bulbs they can have. They really started going hard on the electric vehicle thing, gas tax, carbon tax, all those kinds of things, right? So that was just about 2 years ago, and all we've seen in the past 2 years is them just doubling and tripling down on that agenda where they want us regular people, these major corporations, mega banks, these ultra-rich people, are hammering it into us that they only want us to have so much, and they want to be able to tell us what we can have. You can only eat so much red meat. You can only drive so far. You can only fly so many times a year, so many miles a year. If you drive over this limit, you're going to be taxed X amount of cents per mile, and so on and so forth. And then I feel like most people should know about the World Economic Forum and the things they talk about, which all revolves around these sorts of topics and agendas. But to my surprise, every now and then I will talk to somebody about these things, and they will have no idea what I'm talking about, who I'm talking about, and I'll have to, send them links and enlighten them, so to speak. But if you look at every commercial for cars, travel companies, clothing, everything's talking about carbon this, carbon that, carbon neutral, carbon credits, carbon offset, carbon tax, zero carbon emissions. And don't get me wrong, I love this planet that we live on. I love to travel and see different parts of the country here in the United States. I haven't been on many trips overseas, but the trips I have gone on, I've loved getting to experience that. I love nature. I love being outdoors, camping. So I am definitely in favor of preserving that. But that's just the surface presentation that they peddle to us when, it's quite obvious that there's a darker, more sinister agenda underneath that surface presentation. So that's that. I'll wrap this one up. If you haven't heard of the World Economic Forum, or if you've heard of them, or haven't looked into a lot of what they talk about, just type them in on YouTube, World Economic Forum. They even have a commercial from years ago. I don't know if there's an official name for it. You can just type that in on YouTube as well. World Economic Forum Agenda 2030 commercial. And it's the one that comes up with, 8 or 10 goals for the world by 2030, and it talks about all these kinds of things like the U.S. will no longer be the world's leading superpower, which explains why the U.S. is being so quickly destroyed right now. And then a big part is talking about, it's the one that people quote all the time, you will own nothing and be happy, as it shows, a smiling, happy guy. So all these major corporations want to own everything. All these governments are in partnership with them. They want to own everything. They want us to own nothing. They want us to rent everything. And they want to control every little thing we do and every little thing we can and can't have. So that's it for this one. I just thought it was crazy that I had that dream, and then literally a couple weeks later, I started seeing all kinds of stuff popping up in the news that dealt with the exact scenario that was going on in the dream. So hope this blesses y'all, and that's it for this one. Talk to you soon.